Well, he attack me. But Jaden Chase, they have to make the fans them know what really are going on.
Blessings Nation, and now welcome to the channel. Your man Jaden Chase, and another one we're gonna bring on another reason on the topic of current affairs. So if you're new to the channel, well, I'm suggesting that you click the subscribe icon and of course let your voice be heard. Like and share the video, and yes, drop a comment in the comment section. Now let's get right into the reasoning. Now, Nation, it is said that the former Minister of Education is the first politician that will serve a prison sentence for acts of corruption. As the Observer published an article with the headline reading, "Politicians must go to prison too, not just resign." And talk to me, Nation, tell me if you agree with that statement. Do you agree that it is not enough for elected officials to just resign after being caught in high levels of corruption? It is said that when politicians are caught in scandals or compromising situations, all they do is either resign and offer some vague semblance of accountability, and that is always done to just make it look good for the political party that these individuals caught in the scandals are aligned to. The nation members of the political landscape, along with the Commission of Integrity or the Integrity Commission, is stating that when found in breach of the law, politicians should be incarcerated simply to send a message of fairness. Political commentator Paul Ashley was quoted as saying, "People should be going to jail. There must be some attempt to get back ill-gotten gains, and misappropriation of funds must be made a criminal offense." Now keep in mind, Ruel Reid is charged for this very same thing. And there is outrage that there is still unclear articles of the law that doesn't make this offense punishable by prison time. So with all the talk of crime and violence, corruption, and the fact that the economy has been put at a disadvantage by corruption at the highest level, why is it that elected officials can steal billions of taxpayer dollars, whether borrowed from overseas entities or misappropriated through government agencies and contractual obligations? Why is it that these individuals are never sent to prison? And this might be why, despite calls from all areas of society, whether locally on the island out there or from people residing overseas, that something should have been done on a public level for what took place at the Ministry of Education, not only once but on multiple occasions. Ashley also went on to state that there must be a sanction that these individuals can never return to politics. You can't thief, go away, and then come back only to do the same thing again, he was quoted as saying. Other political analysts pointed out that the recent turnout or the low turnout of individuals for general elections is a sign that there is little to no confidence in the political landscape. People feel as if political officials are corrupt, or just simply that. And people have lost confidence in the system. They've lost confidence in their political leaders. We have seen constituencies that vote for individuals and then come protest. So them want the Prime Minister to change these individuals. And these supporters are supporters of the party in power. Philip Parwell, 6th-term Member of Parliament for Kingston, Eastern and Port Royal, stated that the decline in voter turnout suggests that there is a trust deficit among the electorate, and that the high level of voter apathy is deeply disturbing. Powell further stated that if attention is paid to certain polls that ask about people's confidence in politicians, there is a clear concept that there is no confidence in elected officials, whether as ministers of certain ministries or just as members of parliament. Paul was quoted as saying, I think the people have reached a critical point some time ago where he thinks a vast majority of Jamaicans have decided that their political leaders are simply not trustworthy. And there seems to be some truth to the matter. It is simply like before, when individuals were stating that corruption exists within the security forces, but individuals were not seen members of the security forces being arrested, prosecuted, or even charged. And of course, that created a lack of confidence within the security forces, even though the people have stated that there are hardworking men and women within the forces and that we need their presence, as the people are serious about tackling the issues on the island associated with crime and violence and corruption. But now to see political analysts, members of the political landscape themselves, saying that it is clear the people have lost all confidence in the system and the political officials that make up the system. And one of the main reasons for that is not that all politicians have been caught in corrupt acts, but that the few that have been caught in corrupt acts have never been charged or prosecuted for their acts of corruption, even though the people have stated that the reason why it is hard for the country to move forward economically, socially, technologically is because of the corruption that exists within the political sphere. And there is nothing being done to address that. So talk to me. Do you agree with the headlines that elected officials should not only be allowed to resign, but some form of prison time should be attached depending on the level of corruption and the nature of the act? Because we know it always going to involve money. Maybe how much money, how the money was taken, and the impact that has had on the specific sector and the political landscape overall. Because we can't say cost of fuel go up and them can't find within the budget to even allocate some funding to ease the pressure of the people, while elected officials cannot steal billions from the government. It can't work. And ministers of these other ministries who know the situation where the ministry in, for vex about that, for no say a man go out of the way for robbing ministry, them should be just as outraged as the average citizen. They might have heard about it beforehand, before it did make headlines, and maybe their outrage has passed. But the system is in a unique opportunity at the moment where individuals are calling for justice to be served, and that all elected officials should be held to a standard. We not say a higher standard than anybody else, and that is the very thing. They're not saying that elected officials should be held to a higher standard. That was not even the question. But they should be held to the same standard as all citizens. Because think about it. If you work at your workplace and misappropriate workplace funds, you know it go. So why is it when these elected officials go off for them workplace, which is their respective ministries, and misappropriate funds, them can't know how it go? Some of them go away and return to do the same thing again, as the political analyst has stated. Talk to me in the comment section if you feel like it's a time for a change, and that elected officials should seek office not to get rich, but for the betterment of the people and the nation at large. If them want to get rich, tell them to start a business and invest in something. Nothing not go wrong with that. If you have an elected official, we have him own company, we have billions, nothing wrong with that. At least we know say him not try to take 1 little million deso, 1 little 30,000 deso, because this is already a wealthy individual. Nobody wouldn't feel like Mr. Leaching a try take money for road works. Because we know so them individually already. They money depend on Forbes. I would assume I never actually see it for myself. Speculation. You get the concept. Talk to me in the comment section though. You know the sentiments, and for those who don't, well, first and foremost, live, love, and prosper. Stay tuned.